Hey, everybody, welcome to the Grow Like a Mother podcast. Today, I want to do a solo episode because it's been a while since I just gave you guys an update and shared something that I do that people often will ask me different things like, how do you do it all? How do you balance it? What does your routine look like? All those things. So, today, I'm going to share with you the 5 habits that I try to stick to every single day that help me get everything done in addition, of course, to like the weekly planning that I do, which you guys have heard about at nauseum if you've been here for a while. So I won't talk to you about weekly planning today, but I will share with you my five five habits that every single day in my planner I check off. Did you do it, Jill? Did you do it? Keeps me on track. They sometimes change, but I'll share with you what they are right now. And before we do that, I want to share with you a quote from the book Happy, Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise. It's one of my favorite ones. I talk about it often, so you may have heard about it, but I just feel called to share it on the pod today. So the page is titled Time Confetti. I heard Ashley V. Willens, an assistant professor at Harvard Business School, interviewed on a podcast, and she was talking about a completely life-changing concept that I adopted immediately and still use daily. What is it? The idea of time confetti. Sounds fun, right? And it kind of is. The idea is that we do have free time in our days, and quite a lot of it compared to past generations. This is in part thanks to modern inventions like the washing machine and the ATM. But the problem is that our free time is split up into small portions throughout the day, brief time slots, when we are waiting in lines, commuting, or even waiting on hold. But what if we were intentional about using these brief moments of time? If we could fit small things into these pockets of time, they could really add up to big results. I liked the idea so much that I created the time confetti list on my phone, which I look at every time I realize I have a few minutes available. I encourage you to do the same. With a bit of practice, you'll soon start to pick up on these very frequent moments throughout the day, and having a list to reference to help you use them wisely is just a super smart and intentional thing to do. Now, that is a concept that I heard of years ago, probably 4 years now. And Ashley Willens did do the research to show that we have more free time, that it's just in these pockets of time confetti. But the idea of time confetti actually really came from Bridget Schultz, or Schulte, maybe. She wrote this book. It's called Overwhelmed: Work, Love, and Play When No One Has the Time. I just finished it. I don't know if you guys can see if you're following along, but like highlights everywhere. There's not a page that I didn't highlight in this book. So good. So if you're interested in time and understanding time and time management, it's a good read. It's a little bit academic, heavy on the social studies, but really, really good read. So I I wanted to share about time confetti on the pod today before we got into talking about my 5 habits, because I used time confetti in a really interesting way yesterday. We got back from camping, our first camping trip ever with the kids. I've been camping a million times, but this was with the kids. And my kids did well, but they needed a lot of extra like connection, security time. And they had a hard time falling asleep. This is when we got back. And my daughter, her sleep was so out of whack. She was up and down with the late nights and the campfires and the early mornings, and it rained all weekend, and so much excitement, energy, and sugar and junk food and all of the stuff that comes with camping. So she had a really hard time going to sleep. And it was one of those nights that I know you know, where you're lying in bed with your kid because they won't let you leave. And it's easier just to lie there and let them fall asleep than it is to argue. So this is where I'm at last night. And I'm doing that thing where I like slowly move a little bit to see if she's really asleep. And she would like wake up and be like, Mom, where are you going? You got to stay, right? You guys all know that move where you're like gingerly trying to leave. So as I was lying there, just listening to her try to fall asleep, I realized like, oh, here's a moment of time confetti. And it was not a situation where I could physically grab a book or listen to music or send a text or anything. I was lying in bed with her, but I have a practice of doing like energy clearing. I do this often throughout the day, and it doesn't take anything but my imagination and my breath. And so I used that opportunity to do a bit of clearing, and I was able to do some clearing for her during that time too. And it really allowed us just both to be present and sort of unsticky from one another, and made the time go by really a lot faster than it would have if I was just sitting there getting angry that I couldn't leave. So time confetti is literally everywhere, and you don't have to have a physical action to do during your time confetti moments. You can practice gratitude. You can do energy work. You can do, say your prayers. You can do, you know, gosh, there's so much stuff, breath work and meditation and lots of stuff you can just do in the moment by yourself when no one's going to know you're doing it. Okay. Next, and it kind of leads in the 5 habits that I have on my habit tracker list right now every single day. The first one is to take my pills. I have this little pill box in the morning, the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever. And I've got like an anxiety medication, but there are also some supplements that I take, which I find really helpful for managing my energy and my mood and my sleep. So I take, just for interest, in case anyone's interested, I went to a naturopath, did all the blood work, went through this whole thing with her. First, we fixed my burned out adrenals and my butt health, my gut health. My butt was fine, guys. Nothing wrong with the butt, but my gut health with the probiotics and prebiotics and that stuff. And then it's just, you never know what you're going to get on this podcast. Anyways, we did the panels and it turned out that I needed magnesium, B12, vitamin D, and fish oil. So I take those along with my happy pill, as I call it, every single day. And because it's on my habit tracker list, I'll know if I missed it, because sometimes mornings are busy and a little pill container, like especially if it's been tucked away and somebody else put it away in somewhere that I don't usually put it, and I might not see it. I need that visual cue for myself. I don't know how many of you are also like that, where you leave things out because seeing it will remind you to do it. Otherwise it's gone out of your head. My brain, I always say, is like a sieve. It's like, if it's not written down somewhere and if I can't see it, I'm not going to remember it. So that's why my area always looks really cluttered. It's just that's so it can be cluttered visually and not in my brain. So pills, first thing. The second thing I do is what I call my workshop. I got that term from Abraham Hicks, but the idea is very much shaped to something that is just mine. Abraham Hicks suggests doing this little workshop for manifesting and like law of attraction stuff every day, where you take some time to visualize and manifest the things that you want. So I kind of combined that idea with a bunch of different things, and it turned into this practice I do in the car. Usually after I drop my kids off, it's about a 10 or 15-minute drive home. I'm by myself. Instead of turning on a podcast or listening to music, which I would normally do if I'm in the car by myself, I do this, I call it verbaling, and I speak out loud, and it's kind of like I'm doing my journaling for the day. So I do gratitude work. I do my affirmations. I set my intention for what I want to accomplish that day and bring in like my guides and do all that woo-woo stuff to get support, ask for help, that type of thing. And then I also spend time sort of visualizing or describing what I'm trying to bring into my life, and that manifesting, that intentional remembering that I'm a powerful magnet and a powerful creator and all of this stuff. And sometimes it's just the affirmations, and sometimes it's just the intention, and sometimes it's a bit of everything. But no matter what it looks like, it's exactly what I need that day. And for me, speaking it out loud. I mean, obviously I'm a podcaster, I'm a speaker. Speaking is a very important way of how I move about in the world. It's verbalizing things is how I process them. So writing down in a journal isn't for me. It doesn't work as well for me and my style, my personality, my whatever type. And also I'm really busy and I fit a lot into my days. So verbaling is something I can do while I'm driving. You can think of it as time confetti. 10 minutes of time confetti. You're in the car, nothing else to do some verbaling. Okay, so that's my workshop, I call it. Pills workshop. The third thing is intuition. So I'm practicing right now, or I'm learning the process of reading chakras and connecting with spirit guides and going into the Akashic records and all of these sort of woo things. But basically, it's just connecting with my own self and my soul in a stronger way. So I practice some kind of intuition work throughout the day, either try and do a reading for someone, or I pull some cards. And instead of looking at the book, I sort of intuit what the meaning is without checking, that type of stuff. So I practice that. That's 3. The 4th thing that I do is hypnosis. So I have a coach who helps me with my, right now, she helps me transition from being a full-time employee to being a full-time entrepreneur. It's a very big shift for me. There's a lot of mindset work that needs to go into feeling safe in that role, and not just giving up on the business. It's never for me been this, it's never been a lack of what to do with my time. Like, I'm up at 6, I would work till 8 if I didn't have family here. But my days are full, very busy working in the business. But the mindset piece is something that, it's a lot. So I have these guided hypnosis recordings that I use to get me through and each day. I listen to them and they switch every once in a while. When I meet with my coach, she gives me new recordings, but it's always something that is pertinent, and I leave that 10 minutes feeling refreshed because it's kind of like meditation too. And it sets my mind up right for the day. And then the last thing I do is just for me, just for fun, because I like to work in something that's just for me, that's not work related or mothering related. And that's learning a new language. So, as many of you know, I'm learning Gaelic, and it's really fun for me. I love my Scottish history, my Scottish heritage. My boyfriend always jokes that I'm learning this ancient language that nobody speaks anymore. And I don't care because it's just for me. And I love doing it. And it turns out I'm really good at it. And in fact, because I've been doing it every day for 3 months now, I'm starting to think in Gaelic. So the other day we were watching a movie. I went for a field trip with my daughter. Um, and we were watching this movie called Migrate, where it's a cartoon about birds migrating. Anyways, wish I had field trips like that. But I saw a swan, and immediately in my head, I was like, Yella. And Yella is the word for swan in Gaelic. And that happened to me as well with a donkey. We were watching Outlander, of course. And we saw, was it? It was something we were watching. I think it was Outlander. And there was a donkey. And I looked at the donkey, and in my head, assel. Assel is the word for donkey in Gaelic. So I can see the physical proof that this practice is working. Habits work. You stick with them, you track them, you celebrate that you did it, you gain the momentum, and they work. It's like the small compounding effect, right? The little steps in the right direction. James Clear would say it's casting the vote for the type of person you want to be, right? Like 1% better every day type of deal. But making sure that I take care of myself, my hormones, and my brain, my anxiety, my nervous system through taking my pills, taking charge of creating the life I want in my workshop by verbaling, practicing and honing in a skill that can help me in all areas of my life with my intuition, which I'll also be bringing into my coaching practice. So as we move forward with these time magic sessions, these one-to-one sessions that I do for people, we cover time management, self-care, boundary work, human design, and rest, like all based on your particular supermom type. Which, by the way, if you haven't taken the quiz, I'll link it in the show notes. It's super fun. Tells you your supermom type, and there are specific tools for you that are different from some of the other supermom types. There's 4, and they're not all going to work. Like, some things that work for the selfless giver aren't going to work for the high performer, and vice versa, right? Anyways, so in this time magic session, I'm adding in, if people are interested, a chakra reading so that we can see, like, where you stuck, where do we need to balance a little bit. Nothing too intense because I'm just learning and practicing, but I'm really good at it. So that's something I'm adding in. And of course, the mindset work is coming along great with the hypnosis. I can see those results every single day. And my Galic's coming along. So I guess cheery for now. That means bye. Cheery. The spelling's ridiculous, by the way. Cheery is spelled with a T, not a ch. Anyways, I'm learning it all. It's very difficult. But I just want to share that with you in case it inspires you to create a habit of your own. To know that if you practice it and track it every day, even if it's small things, sorry, that's my alarm to go pick up my son, it will make a difference. And it doesn't have to be things that are specific for health, specific for finances, specific for your job, specific for your relationship. It can be anything that you choose, and it can be as unique and weird and wonderful as you are. So with that, I just want to thanks for listening if you made it all the way through. And I'd love to know what your habits are. Do you do habits? How consistent are you with habits? Tomorrow we've got Nikki Cheek coming on to talk to us about habits on the Grow Like a Mother podcast. So I'm excited for that one, and I hope you tune in. But that's it that I have for you today. So thanks again for being here. I love and appreciate you so much. If you're not already part of the greater community of Grow Like a Mother and the village and all the things, please come find me on Instagram or on the website. All the links are in the show notes, guys, if you're curious to learn more and you like my vibe. But I'm so glad you're here. Thanks. And keep on growing like a mother.